Sam, do you want to start this?
What's going on, guys?
I don't think they heard you that loud, but
That's pretty good.
What's going on, guys? This is the Gainz Podcast, the one and only Gainz Podcast on your future network, starring your boy
Roman
and Antoine. So, Roman, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you doing?
Man, I am great. As you guys know, look, it's like Roman and I literally, like, we don't talk to each other that much anymore because we don't see each other in person. But, like, look, he's even shaved since the last podcast that I've shaved. Like, what is going on, Roman? Like, I didn't even, what are you trying to copy me?
Represent.
But episode 29, guys. Man, we're in it to win it. Gainz Podcast 2020. But we're fired up to present you another episode 29. Roman, we're almost on episode 30.
That's insane. We might have something special for you on episode 30.
We promised
tuned next week.
We promised you on episode 27.
We've been teasing it out.
This is gonna be episode 29. So, and this the third try, maybe. But no, yeah, this is gonna be a great one. We're gonna be talking about future technologies when it comes to fitness. What does that mean, Roman? Like, what's a general? I mean, that's a general. That's an attention grabber. The title of this episode. Yeah. What's like the general description on what do you think we're gonna talk about today, buddy? Can we get a little bit?
We're gonna be talking about bots that can like scale buildings, that can like speed up hypertrophy gains like 10x. So you're like, man, I don't want to gain 20 pounds of muscle for like my like first year. I want to gain 200 pounds of muscle. Like, you got it. Your first year. Here we go, baby. You're going to gain a pound of muscle a day. You're going to gain a muscle a day. You're just going to have a new muscle. It's called the sartorius externus. No, but we're going to talk about some like mostly speculative stuff. We're going to try and keep it like light and airy. Hopefully give you some like good content. Some good entertainment, something for you to like think about, like in regards to like the future, because we're gonna have a bright future, folks. Things are gonna open up and things are gonna get back to normal.
Is it gonna be a clean future, Roman, or is it gonna be that same old dirty situation we're in right now?
I think it's gonna be mandatory. I heard legislatures coming out of President Trump's office. This is actually straight from the president. I just got off the horn with him, and he said that we're going to be required, each American citizen is going to be required to carry around a bottle of hand sanitizer and just like glob it on everything you touch. Door handles, you shake somebody's hand, you're just going to glob it on their hand. It's the way of the future.
Speaking of which, side note, Sam and I just received a letter from the White House.
I love it.
The IRS one? No, wait, was it that? No, I don't think it was. It was
like IRS like -4001 or something like that, and it's in regards to the CARES Act, right?
No, this is it. So before we get into why they sent the letter, well, let's get into why they sent us the letter. So we actually sent Donald Trump a wedding invitation, and that was the reply. He said, well, I don't know if he wrote it, but they said congratulations to Antoine and Sam, and and they had the Donald Trump signature at the bottom. I don't know who else's signature was on it, but it was like a typed up little like letter from the White House.
Dang, your wedding's been endorsed by the Don himself.
Don Juan 20 Trump.
Oh my god.
But back to the main point. Like, when I think of like future technologies, I don't know if you guys watch my boy Chris Duffin. He is the mad scientist. He's actually a pretty smart guy. He's like an engineer by career, lifter by night. The guy can squat over 1,000 pounds for multiple reps.
Yeah, double, no big deal.
But like, I was telling Sam the other day, like, I forgot what his equipment's called, but like he made that hex bar with the one side open. So you could do like there's like there's like almost 100 workouts you can do within that like built machine that looks it's like pretty much a longer and wider hex bar without the one side of metal or steel, whatever it is, and they have like a longer bar so you can add more weight to it. But when Roman brought this idea up to me, I'm thinking like stuff like that, but we can go into a sense of like what other areas where Roman's going to get into. It's going to be like the bot idea, but um, it's crazy to see where technology's gone. Like
Yeah.
no one's just lifting with like a dumbbell anymore. Like barbells are newer than dumbbells, I'm pretty sure. Or
Yeah.
is barbells? I
I
don't know.
I'm not 100% positive, and I think Eric Helms might be a pretty good like
Resource,
contact
yeah.
for resource because he covers like a lot of like when it comes to history. I do know that like I think they call it like the Bodville area. I think that's how you pronounce it. They had like a lot of like really like weird instruments that did look like dumbbells and barbells, but I think they had to be cast iron at the time, and like compared to like modern day like suturing procedures and like from like a metallurgical standpoint, I think they were like pretty obscure. Like the what do you call it? Like the soldering marks. So they'd be like these giant balls of iron that you would like. They do it in strongman competitions like still to this day, where like you to like squat, you'd like take the squat bar and you'd have to like pick it up off the ground and then you'd squat it and then you'd like put it back down on the ground. Um, so I don't know if
Juji Mufu does that a lot.
oh really? Okay, I don't know
Yeah,
if
he
I've
was
seen him
doing
do
it for a while.
that before, but yeah, he does crazy stuff, man. He does backflips and then he like dances in Instagram videos at the same time. He's a wild man, and then plays with his cat.
He's one of those how Carol Baskin would say, a cool cat and a cool kitten.
Yes.
Roman still barely knows who Carol Baskin is, guys. So
No,
that's going
no.
over his head.
Just go with it.
So besides that, have you like thought of like any ways like where we can like I mean you can buy I mentioned it before, but like you can buy racks that fold into your garage so you can still park your car,
Yeah.
and then when you want to work out you can pull it out literally
Yeah.
and have a full-on rack, a full size, regular size, competition size, whatever you want to call it. And like, you have the mobility now, especially during these times with the working out from home. Like, what else can they do, Roman?
There's a lot that you can do. Like even like with equipment that's out on the market, that's like not like widespread. They have things like one board, two board, three board, like devices. It's I think it has an accelerometer inside of it. I think that's like what the piece is called. We've talked about this before, but people will use it. Like velocity based training is becoming like increasingly like more important, or like rather not maybe not so much important, I should say. There's some research that's coming out on it. I think Mass had like an article about like how you can use velocity based training to essentially like auto regulate your training. So I haven't read the full paper, so I'm just speculating. But like what
Roman still currently has the free edition, so they allow you to read like one paragraph. So he tries to pretend like he didn't read it, but
I won't lie. I haven't taken the dive yet to purchase it. But I've noticed this in my own training, but when reps like start to slow down, like rep to rep, you know that like you're getting to that point where it's like, all right, you're done. You need to rack the weight. Well, like concurrently, like that's just a phenomenon of like weightlifting. So when like the weight starts to, when the body starts to fatigue and the muscles can't contract as forcefully, your body's going to slow down like the rate of contraction. So there's devices that can measure that, and it can go like straight into like your laptop, and you can like view that if you're like a personal trainer and you're like on the cutting edge. They have those types of devices now. A lot of powerlifters will, well, not a lot. Some powerlifters will use them. Like I've seen Lane Norton use it before for bench, and he'll like set it up for like a one board, for example, and like he can tell like what his bar speed is based off like the.
Is that the? Are you talking about the equipment they used in Generation Iron with Ben Pawlowski, or what's his name? Your guy Ben, whatever his name is, starts with a P.
Ben Pakulski?
Yeah,
like
BPAC. Yeah, Ben
he's
Pack,
like
whatever.
PhD deadlift or something like that.
Yeah, is that some of the equipment you're talking about?
Maybe. I think he might use it for deadlifting. I just always see him like benching with the safety or squatting with the safety squat bar, like shirtless, and the guy has like massive pecs.
You know what they say, more pecs,
bigger paychecks.
I heard they say something else, but I'm not gonna say that. We're gonna keep it PG.
Yeah. So I mean that's like equipment that's like already out on the market, but one thing that like I've speculated for a while about, and I didn't realize until recently, there's actually a couple of gyms that do this, but I've been into like fitness for much of my life, and I've thought like, hey, maybe it'd be cool to have my own gym, and so I'm like doing so. I've also been like environmentally conscious, I would say. So I'm like, how can I do this without like having like huge impact, and also so I can like reduce my bills for like keeping the lights on, that kind of thing. And there actually is some equipment out in the market which is it'll like the user. So let's say like you're biking, it'll somehow be wired into the like the electrical box of the gym, and you're like feeding that electricity that you're generating from the work that you're doing back into the grid. Like it's a pretty nominal amount, but I think like some people can do like maybe 50 or 75 or like 100 watts, maybe a little bit more than that, like in an hour. And then like the whole premise behind that is I was going to have like little cards that you're going to like kind of put into like the devices and say like, this is how much wattage like I generated, and like have contests with like with members and stuff like that. And then you can do that with what is it called? Why can't I think of the term for it? It's a new it's spelled PNEU. Anyways, so like it's the technology is it's compressive forces. So you use a some type of like a lever or a device in a vacuum tube, and you can like use it for like a Smith machine, for example, for benching or squatting. And like the only issues I like ran into when I was like trying to quote unquote engineer it, because I'm not an engineer, I don't have an engineering background, is like the electrical component. So you'd have to be very discreet about hiding like the inverter, and then you'd have to have some sort of baffle that like dampens like the noise of the equipment itself. But you could essentially like have a monitor on it, and somebody could be like benching off a Smith machine or squatting on a Smith machine and generating electricity like per set. And they could have like their little chip that they put in that says like, this is how much wattage you generated today, and use that as like an additional like incentive for members to like work out, get fit, that kind of thing.
Or, hear me out, Roman, you will get a half paid membership if you were able to convert so much energy within that day of working out. So like you couldn't, like if you wanted like half your membership discounted, you had to perform like enough energy to obviously pay for that member and like a little bit more, and you'd be able to cut their membership fees in half, because they've continually, like say if they're a runner or someone that go like a biker who like, because we live in the Midwest, like if you did something in the East Coast, they don't run outside all the time, or they don't bike outside all the time, so they use like the fitness gyms during like the fall, winter time to practice, make sure their skills are still there. But what if like something like that was in place, where it's like just because you help this gym like run, like you were able to get a discount, but you have to like convert so much energy. Like, it doesn't have to be a daily rate, but like a monthly or weekly to be able to get that discount. Wouldn't that be crazy?
That'd be really cool, yeah. And that's like definitely something I've thought about. So I thought that was like a super cool idea, and that I was like cutting edge. There's actually a gym. I think it's in one of the northwest suburbs of Illinois. I think it might be Schaumburg, but I could be mistaken. Like you can find it by just searching like energy efficient gym in like Illinois, something like that. I think that's how I ended up finding it. And then there's also one in maybe California, like Southern California somewhere, like surprise, surprise. They like call it like zero energy, but essentially like the concept is that they generate so much electricity from like their photovoltaic system, but also from like their members, from like some of the equipment that they have, that they like don't have an electric bill. So I was like, that's so dope, man. Like gyms can cost like hundreds, if not like thousands of dollars a month, like depending on how large it is and like the amount of
what
equipment.
area. Yeah.
And if that's like a fee that you can reduce, and then like you can like essentially like pass that back to members, like you might be able to like reduce their rate. It would be probably nominal, but I don't know. I just thought it was like a cool concept that I've like been tossing around for like the past like 5 or 6 years. And I was like, man, maybe I can help like build this technology. But like my engineering background sucks. And I like did some research when I came out here. I was like, shit, actually somebody like is like way ahead of me. They like already implemented this.
Yeah, besides like so I would say besides like saving, that's like one portion of like what would be nice with all like technology around us today. Like, do you have any ideas on like, and then you mentioned like the contracting device that can help you like, contract a little bit harder or better. Now, is there anything that you think with technology that will be able to like, generate a new either training modality or more training methods or better performance when it comes to like in the gym? Like, is there anything that you're thinking of or you thought of?
Man, I mean, like you just like kind of like hit the hammer on the head, but like one of the learning curves for like working out is learning how to like properly like contract a muscle and like feel a muscle. So like low key, there actually is some like this there,
Low key alert.
so there's like these like weird bracelets that some people have. They use them for like anxiety, is what I've heard. They probably have like other applications, but like that's the main application I've heard it for. So it sends like a really like, it's like maybe millivolts. So it's like a really small like electrical charge, but it kind of like shocks you continuously. It's really like a small amount. It kind of feels like a little tingly sensation. But some people say they self-report that the that like tingling, it helps to like keep their mind off of like some like the day-to-day anxieties that they might have. So like people that are like suffering from like pretty severe anxiety, that like they might have like daily panic attacks about whatnot, that they're subscribed to like or prescribed, not subscribed, prescribed to medication to like control like different like hormone levels, etc. for anxiety in particular. I could see that being used to teach an individual like how to properly like contract your quads while you're in a while you're like performing like a squat or something along those lines. I think there have been some researchers that have like tried it. I don't think it's been like very successful. So we might have to learn like more about like A&P before we can like accurately apply that. And we'd have to have like a lot of people that are kind of like early adopters, like go into labs with people like Andy Galpin and just let them like shock the shit out of them. And like it should, the research should be like properly designed where like you're not like getting such a shock that like your heart stops. It would be like pretty nominal, but it has to be like targeted in such a way, and maybe it has to like run along like the duration of the fiber. Maybe it has to be cross-sectional, so it has to like wrap around the fibers itself to get them to properly activate, or teach you like how to activate them. But I mean, something like that could be used by personal trainers to teach their clients, or even teach somebody, let's say, that's been like involved in like a severe accident, and they're like in the beginning stages of like recovery, how to be able to like properly contract the muscle again. Because
Yeah, and it can help rehab too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean that kind of stuff is like not too far off. And like I'm like 100% just speculating, but it is very possible that could be used in that regard, and it could be used to like help people like learn how to like move better, like teach people how to move again, like potential like stroke victims, so that they can like learn how to like use like one side of their body that their brain is like having trouble like connecting with, etc.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be very cool.
I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
That would help tremendously when it comes to like the injured population, as well as like maybe like the defect population, where like not to say it's a defect, but like something that's like degenerated, where it's like something that's not working properly when it comes to like birth, or whatever the case may be. Quick addition to that. I have a very like awesome idea, which I don't think that's gonna ever happen, that I wish was in like the realm of fitness that can assist with people. It would be an automatic macro calculator on every time you put food in your mouth. So it's like almost like putting a coin in a machine, and like like when you're in the arcade, you put a 25-cent coin in and it says 25 cents. You put in a 25 kcal energy piece of food, it somehow gets calculated to your phone, to a fitness watch, whatever the case may be, because I am sick and tired of scaling and weighing my food. But like, yeah, that's like, can you imagine, like, I don't know if they have to put like micro sensors can you imagine, like, I don't even know, like a like chip like in your throat, or like something that it's gonna pass through, like,
or
call
even
me crazy.
Like wearable, like what if like a wearable, because I don't know this much about like A&P to like say if you can do this, but my understanding is that I think your trunk ends up increasing in temperature postprandially, so like right after a meal, and that's to like that's like partially based off I think thermic effect of food, but also based off your body kind of like ramping up to be able to like as quickly and efficiently as possible like clear the material from like the gut, or like the stomach in particular, and get it into like the intestinal tract, so that it can, because like that's a process where the body starts to like the villi in your intestines start to like determine like, okay, can we like take these nutrients and can we like send them to the liver, or do we need to like continue this like along the way and dispose of it, because like unfortunately like there are times in life where like we consume foods which are like poisonous to us, and we have like a very like drastic effect. Like it might be like throwing up, because like it's like our body determines something to be like we're like allergic to, for example. Like that's
you.
Yeah. Or if like food is like raw or undercooked or something, if it I think if like the E. coli population is like at a certain rate, then the body might like self-eject, things like that. So maybe it could be like on the wrist, but maybe that wouldn't be like sensitive enough. So it might be like a heart rate monitor, where like it has to go around the trunk, where it can tell like exactly what like the thermic effect is, and it might not be able to say like what the macros are, but like based off of the heat, like the change in temperature after a meal, maybe it can say in like the duration what like the intake is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking for an easy way out. I mean, hey, like I could just only imagine you doing that, because I know Sam's sick of me sitting there like looking at my phone and like, oh, every macro, I'm weighing it, or I'm calculating it somehow.
Yeah.
But no, I think if there was some easy way, like, and it would promote like understanding how much people do eat, and like I don't even know, like even if it's like a cooking, like I don't even know, man, just something where like you can easily prop it, proportion it, and then just tell exactly where it's coming from and how your body's processing it. So I think that like the heat idea with with the wrist or the trunk is like pretty cool. So I'm hoping to see that one day too as well. That's like as you were talking, like that was an idea that was popping up. I'm like, I probably should say that.
That's really cool, buddy. Yeah. I mean, anyone that's out there, like, hit up Antoine. Like, obviously, he's like, he he deserves like 50%. So all your hard work, like,
Hmm.
make sure you pay it forward to Antoine. Like, your first mail, just cut him a check for 500 hundo K. Like, it's the Gainz Podcast, baby. Just sharing that appreciation.
We just reinvest here in the Gainz Podcast land, okay? All the money we make, we're just putting it right back. We're filtering it, baby.
On the real though, when do you think like techs are like giant techs like robots are gonna be like a thing? Like so first of all, feat of strength. Do you see Hapthor Bjornsson deadlift
And Eddie Hall.
501 kilos this weekend?
Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about how half Thor and Eddie Hall are boxing.
Oh well, why are they boxing? Hapthor has a new world record for unofficial, I think, world record for deadlift.
Maybe that's why. Maybe Eddie Hall is sick of him.
So he beat him, and they've had like a long-standing rivalry. So Hafthor was like, "That's it, Eddie. Like, you got nothing else on me. Like, I'm gonna beat you to a pulp now." And then the Beast is like, "I'm taking on the Mountain." So we got the Beast versus the Mountain sometime in 2021, folks. What if these giant structures of men fight in like giant tech bots, like 15 feet tall, with like suits of armor? How dope would that be?
That'd be pretty cool. I'm gonna have to refer to like what was that Arnold movie where he was like fighting but maybe he was like stuck in a video game. I don't even know. But either way, I think the Earth would move if we saw this in real life because I don't know if we can handle it with the gravity. I think gravity would get shut off for a minute. Something.
Yeah, Hapthor and Eddie Hall can like not be in one ring. Like that ring will not hold.
It's just levitating because they're so freaking heavy and strong.
I feel like almost 800 pounds. Just two
Yeah,
people.
my buddy sends it to me, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't like I get it, like lifting is like serious thing, but like, man, why are they boxing? What is that gonna show?
I think it's a joke. I think it's mostly a joke. They might actually do it. But I think I think Hapthor has done it with somebody else before. I forget like the other celebrity, but
Conor
usually they'll do it
McGregor?
for like, yeah, maybe Conor McGregor. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
because
exactly what it was.
I remember there was some video of them like messing around.
Yeah,
So I don't know if like that was the person, but like he was like fake fighting Conor McGregor.
yeah. It's just like when all these like other like strength athletes will arm wrestle like Devin Larratt, and like no limit Larratt, like he like frickin' beasts on people because he's like a professional arm wrestler. He's like, you don't have like good technique at all, man. Like it's not just strength, it's also like technique.
Is that about the guy with the mustache?
I don't
Or
think
did they?
so. He's got like freakishly long arms, and he always does this pose.
Is that the guy who hangs out with what's his name? Tony Huge or Tony what's his name?
No, that's like Canadian Trevor or something like that.
Oh, that you just what do you went like this? Like it just reminded me because like he's like a big boy with like a small head because of his
Yeah.
body, and it looks like he's doing this, and it's like
No,
arm.
he always like protracts his like shoulder blades, and he brings his arms like super forward because like the reason why he does it, and he explains in like a Shrug Collective podcast, but because like when we're talking about like line of sight from like a perceptive standpoint, they're like the bigger you're able to make yourself look to like the viewer in front of you, like the bigger you're perceived to look. So that's why he like does this. But it doesn't look good from like a bodybuilding standpoint because like anyone that's watched bodybuilding for long enough, they know that like when you do that, you're not able to like flare out your lats as much, and like the extension of your rib cage kind of looks weird. So
It doesn't look right. Yeah.
it's all about like proportionality, and like aesthetics. But like he's just trying to make like his arms look huge, so he just like shoots them forward. I'll send you
Well,
some of his videos. He's actually a pretty cool dude.
is that the guy who went to Fortis?
I don't think so. Maybe though. Devin
Well,
Lorette. I think he's from Canada, so maybe actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just personally do it just to show off like their job, which is like having big arms and strong arms for the arm wrestling. So
yeah, pretty much.
Roman, the future arm wrestler.
Yeah, probably not. I did get into it for a bit though. It's kind of cool, man.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Roman's forearms measure 21 inches. Damn.
Not quite.
His biceps 17.
Maybe both of them.
His biceps 17, forearms 21. He's doing a lot of arm wrestling and arm training, guys. Leave that guy alone.
Yeah, some kind of arm training. Whoa, hey now.
Hey now. Oh gosh. I think that's a sign that we probably should end this.
Yeah, probably. Well, hopefully you got something out of this, folks.
Yeah.
We like speculating some future technologies. Let us know if we missed anything. If you're working on something, obviously be low key about it because you're probably putting out a patent like tomorrow.
Or I'm gonna take 50% of it.
Or Antoine's gonna take 50% because Gainz Podcast, baby.
Heck yeah. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Follow, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace, baby.